What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jello, and today we are going over the DBT11 deck that I have played on the channel, and it is actually pretty fun, and not to mention very simple to play and straightforward, which is really nice for anyone who's looking for an entry-level deck that can still pump out some really good numbers. But anyway, let's get straight into Gigant Arms Silhouette. Alright, so first things first, as always, we have our ride line. So Silhouette Man, our starter. When ridden upon, if you go in second, draw a card. Next we have Garter Silhouette. So when it is ridden off of Silhouette Man, you can search your deck for up to one Machinery's Factory, which is sort of your main fabrication card, as I guess to put it into context in the deck. And after that, you just shuffle your deck and add that one Machinery's Factory to your hand. And then next we have our grade 2 Caesar Silhouette. When this unit is ridden upon by Gigant Arms, you can choose up to 2 cards with armed arms and their different card names from your drop and call them to open rearguard circles. So if you are discarding different arms, or you have both of your arms in your drop zone, by the time you're grade 3, then you know that you have 3 columns to play off of during your first grade 3 turn. And moving into our grade 3, we have Gigant Arms Silhouette. So 2 abilities. First is once per turn at the beginning of your attack step, Soul Blast 1, choose 2 different armed arms and attach them to this card as arms. So moving both units onto your Vanguard as stand, they cannot attack, and the attached units get their powers and abilities continuously, and then they are moved back to rear as rest at the end of the turn. So that is the main mechanic of the deck, attaching both arms and then swinging for a really big number. And then at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, you can pop one of your arms off to swing at your opponent one more time. And being able to spam the arm abilities is really helpful in terms of gathering resources for the deck, and we'll get into why that is. But yeah, that is Silhouette. You get about 4 attacks if you have 3 lanes to start with per turn, and then your Vanguard gets exponentially bigger depending on what you have on the field and what you trigger. So we'll get into the main deck now. So of course we run the other 3 copies of Gigant Arms Silhouette for our Persona rides, and that's it for the grade 3s. Moving into the grade 2s, we run the main arms, of course. Can't have this deck without 4 copies of each armed arms. So armed arms left and right. I'll start with left. From Vanguard or Rearguard, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, if you have a Silhouette Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 to draw a card. And armed arms right, from Vanguard or Rearguard, when it attacks a Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Silhouette in its card name, you can counterblast 1 to retire one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater Rearguards, and it also gets plus 5k until the end of that battle. So it's a 15k swing by itself, get something off the board for a counterblast. And armed arms left is more extra cards drawn per turn to help you turtle for next turn and to also push your opponent. Both arms are really good because you can spam them. So if you have both arms out and you have Silhouette as your Vanguard and you had enough counterblast, you could go swing with left, counterblast 1 to draw a card, swing with the right, activate Silhouette to attach both arms, swing with Silhouette, counterblast another 1 with the arm, with armed arms left to draw another card. And then at the end of that battle, you can pop it out, swing again to counterblast 1 more time for yet another card. So the fact that you can spam the arms abilities are really nice. And the ability of the deck to recur the arms is really good as well. So even in retire matchups, which I will have linked down in the description of this video, there isn't too much of a worry in losing your arms partway through the game, because there are ways for you to get them back. And that is it for the arms. Next, I run 3 copies of Solid Strummer, or Strummer. I don't know how to pronounce this, but anyway, once per turn, when a set order you played is placed from hand into the order zone. Solid will get plus 5k, and then on top of that, you can check the top 5 cards of your deck for another order and add it to hand. So not only is it a 15k body, it is also a once per turn search every time you drop something into your order zone, which in this deck you do quite a bit. There are quite a bit of orders that I play in this version of the deck. But yeah, really good 15k body, and depending on what you have on the field, it could be a booster or just a nice beater to have in your front row. But yeah, I mainly use it as a booster after pulling one of the 2 refablishment docks that I play here. Absolutely, just put all of the orders down now. So we run 2 refablishment docks, 3 of the Dispatch 3 Sisters of Cleaning, and 4 copies of Machinery's Factory. So refablishment dock is, its cost is 1 counterblast, and when displayed you draw a card, and then as long as it's in the order zone, all of your grade 2 rear guards get boost. And that really helps with the deck because most of the units in the deck are grade 2s. So being able to unlock your back row to swing for bigger numbers is always a plus, and refablishment dock lets you do that, especially with your arms. Next, 3 copies of Dispatch 3 Sisters of Cleaning. I used to have 4 copies of this and 1 copy of refablishment dock, but the refablishment dock kept going into the damage zone, so I chopped this from 4 to 3, but still really good, really solid ability, especially once you get 2, then your arms can kind of just swing on their own at a Vanguard, even if it is just to poke and prod. It still does help in terms of getting pressure your opponent's way, and also to potentially get rid of pesky intercepts that your opponent might have. But during your turn, all of your front row units get plus 2k, and this also does stack when you arm Gigant Arms with the armed arms, because each one of them still counts as a separate unit on the Vanguard circle. So your Vanguard would go from 33 normally, since you got the 13 and the 2 10s off of the arms, to 39. And then when you have 2, it goes from plus 6k to the Vanguard to plus 12k to your Vanguard, and it goes from 33 to 45, and then depending on what else is on your field, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you don't really have to do anything other than play the order. So really, really good card, and helps the deck in terms of being able to mount mid to late game poke, because usually with this deck I've found that if you don't have a Persona Ride, the lanes don't get that big. Yeah, really good card. And then last but not least, we have 4 copies of Machinery's Factory. So this has 2 abilities. First, from the order zone, you rest it to check top 7, and you choose up to 1 card with armed arms in its card name and toss it to drop. If you have a copy of that card in your drop already, you add it to your hand, and then you put this into your soul, and then you put Machinery's Factory into your soul. Really good card for setting up your drop zone to have 1 left and 1 right before you ride your grade 3. I found that playing these conservatively and using them mainly for its second ability, which is if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Silhouette in his card name, you can put this card directly into your soul, choose up to 2 different armed arms in your drop zone, and call them to open rearguard circles. So it gets you both of your arms and sets you up for your turn right away, because it also soul charges itself. So it already gives you the 1 soul that you need to arm your Vanguard. So yeah, really, really good card. And it also gives you sort of extra lives in terms of having your arms available to you on the field in retire matchups, because you will lose the arms for sure if going up against anything that can retire. So those are the orders that we have in the deck. The grade 1s, so 4 copies of Planet Wall Dragon for RPGs, 2 copies of Putzen Schwersten Weeple. So she is the one maid that doesn't have the search ability, but I feel like it's fine since Solid Stormers kind of pseudo search that for you with their top 5 search ability every time you place an order into your order zone. But her ability is she gets all of the abilities according to the number of maid orders you have in your order zone. So 1 or more, she gets plus 5k, so she becomes a 13k booster. 2 or more, she gets resist, and she cannot be chosen by opponent's card effects. And 3 or more, if she is in your back row center column, all of your back row units get plus 5k, so she can go up to 18 and then also go wide and give an extra 5k to whatever is in your back row. Don't always get the blanket plus 5, but it is nice to have a 13k booster with resist. Last but not least, we have 1 copy of Bustling Mechanic Rodney. If you have a Vanguard attached to this turn, gets plus 10k, so he's an 18k booster. And then from back row, rear guard circle, at the end of the battle that your Vanguard with Silhouette and its card name attacked, a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If your front row has no rear guards, you can Soul Blast 1 to restand it. So it's a restanding booster for whatever arm you pull out of your Vanguard after it attacks. Moving into the triggers, when I first built the deck, it was I just had to sort of fumble through whatever triggers I had, and thankfully I did get some more, but I have kept the triggers more or less the same from the videos that I have posted. So the only change that I actually have made is the OT. I didn't have another OT. I actually sent my my 1 extra Eldo Breath to Docs. Shout out Docs. But I do have this reprint one that I did not have in the deck. Up until now, I was actually running the Blue Cray Elemental OT. But Eldo Breath, I feel, is the way to go because not only does it double your unit's power, it also doubles their crit. It does have really good synergy with Silhouette being able to pop out another unit with an extra crit on the field, which is nice. And then I run 3 crit, 2 draw triggers, just for a little bit of extra draw, 6 front triggers. Now the reason I run mainly fronts is to get over hard guarding. So when you attack with Silhouette with Gigant Arms, and you are armed with both arms, if you hit a front trigger, then you go from whatever you were to plus 30 of that, since you have 3 units on your Vanguard circle, so each one will get plus 10k. It really does help in 2 to pass situations, and you hit 1 front and you just don't have to think about it anymore. And then of course our 4 draws. And yep, that is it for this deck profile. This deck took a little bit more getting used to, even though I did say that it was a simpler deck to play. I just felt I was trying to force a specific line of play on the deck in the first week that I played it. That just didn't work properly, but then when I simplified the deck and made it easier to manage resources in the deck, it became much more enjoyable and a lot more consistent. So yeah, what do you guys think of Gigant Arms Silhouette? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and it'd be amazing if we could actually hit it. So subscribe if you enjoy what's going on the channel and you find the videos helpful. And yeah, tell your friends if you think that they'll enjoy it as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.